This video series has been developed by the Department of Energy, Mines, Industry Regulation and Safety for the Western Australian resources industry. It aims to help supervisors and workers recognise common workplace hazards that have killed or seriously injured people. Being able to correctly identify hazards is the first step towards reducing the risk of incidents in the workplace. Most safety videos just tell people how to do things. In the two videos on falling from height, we're going to explain why a fall can harm people and the ongoing and often huge personal cost. If you understand the basic principles behind what you are doing, you can adopt safer work practices and better risk controls. After all, we want everyone to go home safe from work.
This video is one in a set focusing on the effects of falling from height. When things go wrong, whether you plummet 100 metres or stumble just a few centimetres, you could be seriously hurt or killed. In this video, we're exploring why a fall can harm the human body. Falling from height remains a major cause of injuries and fatalities in the mining industry. That's right, gravity, the force we all adjust to from the day we're born, inflicts more trauma than more obvious hazards, such as dangerous machinery or electricity. Gravity is a constant force that exists between all objects, with smaller objects being attracted to larger objects. Because the Earth is so much bigger than a person, we are all naturally moving towards it. We struggle against gravity from the moment we get out of bed in the morning. Every time we step away from stable ground, we risk gravity pulling us down and causing us harm. The longer you are in a falling motion, the faster you move due to gravity, which is fine, as long as you keep falling. What inflicts damage is the rapid deceleration experienced when you hit a solid object. The force of impact absorbed by your body in this moment is the key factor behind many injuries on mine sites. Just like an egg, the human body is designed to absorb a certain magnitude of impact. But injuries arise when the loads acting on our bodies exceed safe levels. By harnessing the power of gravity, a fall from height can unleash catastrophic levels of force very rapidly. We can crudely demonstrate the intense force generated by a fall from height by using an everyday scale. When standing still, this average mine worker exerts a load of 102 kilograms onto the scale platform. However, if the worker falls just 20 centimetres, the scale momentarily registers a measurement of 232 kilograms, meaning that the worker's body endured more than twice the load it normally experiences at ground level. Imagine the force applied when a person falls 10 metres or 50 times that distance. Do you think your body could cope? Using mathematical formulae, we can predict the exact force that the ground will apply to a human body when it completes a fall. Force is measured in newtons, named after physicist Isaac Newton, who determined the laws of motion in the 17th century. His second law states that force can be calculated by multiplying mass and acceleration. Remember, in the case of falling from height, the acceleration we're applying is actually deceleration. We already know that our worker has a mass of 102 kilograms. So, how do we calculate acceleration? Firstly, we need to know how fast the person is travelling at the exact moment before they hit the ground. We can determine this velocity to be the square root of 2 times acceleration due to gravity times height. Acceleration due to gravity remains a constant value of approximately 9.8 metres per second, meaning that for every second an object is falling, its speed in metres per second increases by 9.8. If a worker falls a distance of 10 metres, then by the time they hit the ground, they are travelling at a sickening 14 metres per second. It's like being hit by a bus driving at 50 kilometres per hour. So, what amount of force is at play? We can assume that the time taken for the worker to decelerate from their velocity of 14 metres per second to a complete stop is in the order of 1/100th of a second. That means the worker decelerated 1400 metres per second per second. Multiply that by 102 and the worker's body is experiencing 142,800 newtons of force, or 143 times the normal force of gravity. That's something a helmet will not protect them from. While falling from extreme heights presents an obvious hazard, less fatalities occur from these elevations because workers are generally more aware of the forces involved and therefore take proper safety precautions, often by wearing harnesses or installing an engineered solution. Many more fatalities have occurred while performing tasks at much lower heights, where the threat is less obvious. For instance, checking a junction box may seem like a fairly straightforward undertaking, but at 1.6 metres above ground level, this job actually poses a serious safety risk. A slight lean in the wrong direction could be disastrous. A fall from this height will result in an impact speed of almost 20 kilometres per hour and a deceleration force of over 57,000 newtons, or more than 57 times the normal force of gravity, which is more than enough to put you out of action for good. Most accidents attributed to falling from height occur from very low elevations of less than 1 metre. Many of these incidents are the result of inattention to obstacles at ground level. While a few rocks here and there may seem innocuous, these uneven surfaces cause the majority of soft tissue injuries to workers. For example, at the end of a long shift, it's common for drivers to casually disembark their vehicles. Seems like a relatively simple action, and one that's been performed successfully hundreds of times before. However, it's this attitude of complacency, often combined with fatigue, which can turn an innocent-looking rock into a virtual landmine. Jumping awkwardly on the rock from a height of just 60 centimetres applies a force of almost 35,000 newtons to your ankle, enough to put you in a leg brace for a month should you strain the anterior talofibular ligament. Assuming the rest of your body tumbles from there, the additional 1.5 metres your hand travels means that it hits the ground with a force of over 65,000 newtons, potentially resulting in a distal radius fracture near your wrist. This injury requires immediate treatment and up to a year of rehabilitation. 100 years ago, safe working conditions on mine sites were virtually non-existent. Today, stringent risk management procedures are designed to prevent workers falling from height. However, every worker needs to carefully assess their work area and take proper precautions to ensure that they are constantly operating on a stable surface away from a free edge. Confirm that all safety equipment is fit for purpose, and if you're still not satisfied, seek an engineered solution. The impact of a fall from height will not be limited to your physical body. There are social consequences for your career, relationships, hobbies, and mental health. The one common factor among every falling from height victim is that they never thought it would happen to them. So ask yourself, is that you too? Remember, everyone wants to go home safe from work.